Miss Martin Muses and the triple review. We are back reviewing 3 different movies with all the way from another state, Maury and Eddie. Hello, Maury.
Hey.
Hey, and Eddie.
Howdy.
And apparently a cat is with you all too.
Yes, Rufus says hi. He's sleeping next to the computer.
Yeah, he purred a hi. So
yeah, my cat's sleeping next to the computer too. My gosh, what? Well, I guess it's Halloween. Mine's at least a black cat. I'm not sure. Well, Rufus obviously is not, as you can see. That's his avatar here. But yay, we're so happy to be back. Last year our Halloween theme was the Draculas, and this year it is the Frankensteins. And it was a little bit tricky narrowing 3 down because there have been so many different ones, but I figured we'd go by era and by what's most interesting, such as Frankenhooker, which I never even heard of really before. So, so we're going to start with the classic, the Frankenhooker, and then Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, but there are so many others. Hello, Ubaldo T. Thank you for being here. Your favorite monster. Well, okay. Well, we're gonna talk about him plenty. So first, we are going to begin with the famous movie, rather the most famous movie and the iconic vision of Frankenstein that people think of, the 1931. The original horror show. And it was only loosely based on the original story.
Now, I've never read the novel. Have either of y'all read the novel?
I did not.
I haven't, so I can't. I have no idea how closely the things match up with the story with the novel.
No, not at all. I had the misfortune of rereading the novel before I started this. That's also been a tradition what I do with Dracula. I read the novel and then do this. So I reread it. I love the concept of Frankenstein, and what Mary Shelley accomplished was nothing short of amazing considering her age and when she wrote it. It was very original for its time. But oh my gosh. Just think about how much you want to punch Victor Frankenstein in the face just by watching the movies.
Mm-hmm.
The whole book was like that.
Oh my.
And he was just so, oh no, this horror. And I'm like, yeah, you dumbass, the horror you did. The best part of the book and a lot of the movies is when Victor Frankenstein dies.
You applaud, huh?
Yeah, he's the most selfish, pathetic little. But I think he's supposed to be. From what I understand from the analysis, the theme is the real monster is not the monster. The real monster
is the creator.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So when was the first time, Eddie, you saw the 1931 version?
Oh, it would have been when I was a kid. I've probably seen it, multiple times down through the years. It was never terribly frightening, but I'm a sci-fi guy, so I loved all of the machinery and the the lab gear and the flashing lights and all that. It just captured me as a kid, and I never really understood the romance angle and some of the more social statements and stuff in it. I never really paid much attention to that. I did, however, this time when we were watching it, in the place of women in their society, the class distinctions between the Baron and his family, and then the folks in the village that were more peasant, and they were like the Baron and the Frankenstein family they kind of declared a holiday, and the entire village participated and all. So I mean, I don't know what if the Baron, if Victor's father was like the mayor, I guess, or something over the village. They had obviously a lot of influence on everyone around them, which I didn't really notice before. As a family, that was the class statement, the class distinctions and stuff. So
yes, they made a fuss about that in the movie version. That wasn't in the original, but it kind of makes sense because in those villages back before you had television and stuff, you would have the Baron or the Lord, a little bit of what
Mhm.
we see even in something like Downton Abbey, where your entertainment, your life kind of revolved around what kind of entertainment they were providing.
Exactly. You go out to their home to watch the VIPs show up in their carriages and stuff. That would be the entertainment for the town folk.
Yeah, the equivalent of a Hollywood red
Yeah, exactly.
carpet or a royal wedding. I
Hmm.
must admit, I was one of those that sits around and would stay up in the middle of the night to see a royal wedding. To my great regret, but especially the most latest one, but that's neither here nor there. Yeah, but I felt that there was a little bit of Michael Myers in this, because I was trying to imagine what might have made it scary. And sometimes Frankenstein's monster in this version was kind of like Michael Myers. He didn't move very fast. He was slow and he was steady, especially with the scene Elizabeth, where she's like, oh my gosh, he's here. And she's banging on the door and he's just going, and I'm like,
I know.
the original Michael Myers. I can see how this was very frightening to the 1931 audience who didn't have this kind of horror. There was even the jump scare when he's lying on the table and then he just goes up and chokes that dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes you got to choke a dude. So Maury,
sometimes. Sometimes. Absolutely.
What's your thoughts on this, Maury?
Yeah, I like this version of it. I mean, you got the classic Boris Karloff, and the makeup is just amazing. And the scene where he drowns the little girl.
Oh, heck yes.
Yeah. That's brutal.
I know, he can't tell the difference between a flower and a kid. And
there it is.
Yeah. And Eddie, while we were watching it, he's like, can the kid swim? Because it doesn't really show.
Yeah, I didn't realize he was holding her down.
Yeah, because it just shows him from the back, and you just see him has his arm extended over the water, and he's like, going up and down. It's like, I think it's implied that, she is trying to come up for air, and he's dunking her under. Yeah, dunking her head back down. Yeah. And Joe's like, she's not moving anymore. And he's like, oops. Gotta go.
Time to move on.
Well, it had to be ambiguous because of the
the time.
Even today, I'm not sure that they would graphically show a child drowning like that.
Probably not. There have been some implied. We watched a movie the other day that had a child that was killing people, and they skirted around it. They didn't. What movie was that?
What was that?
But was it one of the Yorgas?
Oh yeah,
it was Count Yorga.
Yeah.
And there was a kid that had become a familiar to the vampire, and this kid was a real butthole. He was killing people and messing people up and stuff. And they didn't show you the child actually initiating someone's death, but then they would show the dead person and the child walking away from them.
Yeah, they showed like his shoes or something.
Yeah, so it was, and this was in the 70s?
Yes,
yeah.
71.
So now,
it was a sequel. It was a 71.
Now, even today, they probably wouldn't be able to get away with even suggesting that the child had killed someone. And killing a child today, the audiences today seem to be a bit more sensitive to things than they were back then.
Yeah. Well, I did read that this was considered the most disturbing scene from the original, that it was even censored in some countries.
Wow.
They just didn't have it because the whole idea of, well, look at her, this sweet little girl.
I know, and she's so kind and just innocent. She gives him a flower. I mean, it's
and he's so stupid he can't tell the difference.
Well, which is part of the theme. He doesn't mean it. He just
exactly. He doesn't know. He's not evil. He just doesn't know anything. He just let go.
Yeah, it's like pretty thing floats, pretty little other thing floats. Oops, it doesn't.
Doesn't float.
Oops.
No.
Oops. Gotta go. I just love the look on his face. He's like, oh crap.
okay.
Yeah, never mind.
I gotta go.
Squirrel. Well, then we see the child later. Well, obviously
yeah.
dead.
Yeah.
So when the
Papa-
dad shows up, it's like, my
Right.
girl.
Yeah. Yeah.
Steve. That kid
Yeah,
was a psycho.
Oh, gosh.
The kid
She
was
got-
a psycho.
she got what she deserved.
Oh, no.
Should have learned to
No,
swim.
no.
Wow.
Oh,
Well,
my
I'm just
goodness.
so glad that you're bringing the goodness and the grace to the story, Stieg, as always.
Oh, my.
And hello, Copa Ex Machina. All these great creature features being reviewed. Loved it. Well, I'm glad you're here. Yay. I just no words. Other iconic moments, though, just this right here. That whole there he is.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There he is. When they finally give you let you look at him. That's It would be very shocking to an audience back then.
Yeah, to us it's a meme. To them, it was the Michael Barr. And it reminds me. Look at the white, the face and the thing and the way he moves. And he wasn't human. He was
Yeah.
total. Yeah. My personal favorite meme moment. It's alive.
I know. I love that. He's so completely nuts. Yet he somehow has the intelligence to stitch together dead body parts and then reanimate them. So,
Yeah.
Yeah. Part of the theme that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Colin did Clive. He was like perfect.
Is that who played
Yeah,
him?
that's an actor. Yeah.
Oh, I see.
And he died at 37. He had tuberculosis.
My goodness.
Nice. Nope. Yeah, that was back before antibiotics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tuberculosis killed everybody.
I
It
know. Man.
Yeah, really.
Stieg, I don't even know if I can read this
No,
out loud.
no, I don't think we can.
He is above the law. How would he bring on the Franken hooker? Well, you're gonna get there.
Yeah. That was our
Spoiler
favorite.
alert, though,
That was
you're
our
not gonna
favorite. That was
Yeah,
our
I think
favorite.
so.
you're not gonna see any stills of certain
Yep.
scenes from this movie,
Right.
the hooker movie. Up. So
Oh
the
my
whole
God.
it's alive. That didn't happen in the book.
No.
It came from this, but it
Yeah.
seems like every
Right.
Frankenstein thing after this has to pay tribute to it.
True.
Yeah, I mean, it was just a good ad lib. Very,
Yes.
Yeah, and there was a fascination with electricity in 31 too.
Yeah.
I would imagine. I don't know if the whole grid had been established. Did everyone have electricity in 1931? I mean,
It was just getting to be mainstream. Yeah, because at first only the rich people could
exactly.
do it. I mean,
And
my great grandmother rather, lived out in the Appalachians. She said it took them a while. They stole oil lamps and all that. And Stieg, you're a liar. I don't believe a word of what you're saying. From out of Avatar, people got paid up. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you two are amused by it.
Oh my God.
Yes. So don't let Stieg get a hold of any of this technology.
Oh no.
I know,
No,
Steve would
definitely
go
not.
nuts.
No.
But well, and then for Lady Gravemaster. My gosh, why did I even think of Lady? Total different person. For Mary Shelley, the very, very genesis of electricity was starting.
Exactly. So it was, people didn't know that the idea of using electricity to reanimate something was probably a long shot at best. So they, why not? Electricity is just, it makes light, it makes things move and all. And it was, they didn't know what electricity, a lot of people probably didn't even know what it was and that, and how it worked and all this kind of stuff. So.
Yeah. And the whole subtitle, The Modern Prometheus, is part of the whole theme. It's like, what have we wrought? in many times, this is considered the first sci-fi novel, not the first horror
Right.
novel.
Right.
Well, Steve,
Yeah.
stay tuned for the Frankenhooker portion of it here. Apparently, he must have watched it as well. It's fine. I only use electricity on.
Oh my God.
Now,
Now, I appreciated the brevity of the film too, but it was, it just clipped right along. It almost felt in some places like it was costing too much, that it was Universal was like, do we really want to spend this much money making this movie? So it seemed to kind of just clip along, it boogied pretty quick, and they got all the story elements in and then bailed, And I love everybody. Oh, happy ending. Okay, everybody. Oh, let's have the wedding. And they're all smiling. Everything's done at the end, and
I could see studio interference totally in the happy ending part.
Mhm.
That was ridiculous.
Yeah.
I knew something was off when Elizabeth didn't die. She just fainted.
Yeah.
Like, really?
Talk about happy endings and kind of goofy slugs yesterday.
Oh my gosh, Slugs! What a classic that one is. Holy moly!
Yeah, I saw that, Steve. I'm not reading it. He's trying to get my channel demonetized. And it's only been mostly. Speaking of which, here we go. The whole virginal woman being ravished by the monster theme.
Oh yes.
Oh, help me!
Yeah, exactly. The helpless woman needing help and all that.
Yeah.
My goodness. Now, I love the. There was one scene too. We're talking about the class distinctions. The Baron, or the father, has the bottle of some sort of really vintage, expensive brandy or wine or whatever it was, and poured some for his guests there, and then told the girl to give the staffs the champagne. This would be wasted on them.
Oh, I know. It's like, what a snob. He deserved to die.
Yeah.
Oh no. He actually kind of does look like that veteran.
Oh no! Dude! Oh my gosh!
Well, one could argue that most politicians are monsters and zombies.
Oh yeah, that have been constructed and they're under the control of something.
Yeah. The whole humpback thing was from this movie. That wasn't at all in the book. I kept thinking of the Young Frankenstein movie, frankly, with a lot of these scenes. Of course, they used this as their inspiration.
Yeah, that's what Eddie was pointing out when we were watching this. He's like, "Oh, the brain, the switching of the brain."
The switching of the brains. I didn't realize that in the original it actually had a normal, for somebody whose brain you would want to preserve, and then an abnormal brain or abnormal brain.
Oh.
I didn't know that was part of the novel, but it's pretty,
Yeah, and then it wasn't in the book, but and then the dude dropped the glue.
Exactly.
It's like, will it really make a difference?
And then the little cane.
I know the little cane. I didn't realize that was actually from this movie. I thought Marty Feldman, that was something that Mel Brooks did to accommodate his humpback. But the guy, Igor in this one actually had a little bitty cane that he walked with and had to bend over. That was just, there were so many. Mel Brooks did such a terrific job of copying this film. There's a lot of places that are,
beat by beat, and including the "It's Alive" with Gene Wilder.
Yes, and the hair and he's just hysterical. And I understand that in Young Frankenstein they borrowed a lot of the set pieces and some of the thing with the spark that climbs up between the two wires and all of that. That they actually got that from wherever it's being stored.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Well, in a moment of cleverness, when the Baron Dad guy does the toast to Young Frankenstein, and that we're going to be making Young Frankensteins, and he was talking about the marriage and
right.
the babies, and you saw Victor, but he wasn't called Victor in this one. He was called Henry.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
He's looking all shifty-eyed. Yes. All right. Well,
Here we
let's
go.
go ahead. I'm going to roll for who gets to go first to give their score on this one. Oh, it is Eddie. Eddie, what score would you give this out of 10?
Out of 10, I would give it easily a 9, possibly even just a 10 for what it is and all. There's very little, like I said, I don't have knowledge of the novel to know how it relates to it, so I can't really judge it on its that merit. But as a film, especially a film from that era, I found very few flaws in it. The shooting was good. There were some continuity errors and stuff, but you kind of expect that for back then. But I would easily give it a high 9, if not a 10.
Okay, Maury?
Yeah, a 9 for sure.
Yeah, I feel similarly to that. For what it was wanting to accomplish, it was only not too far out from the silent films, so you could see some of those inspirations as they're doing it, and for the genuine horror that I found funny, but I appreciate that folks in the 30s would find terrifying.
Yeah, and it kept to the theme,
Yeah.
like the scientists getting obsessed and making that people don't die. He can bring them back, and
Exactly.
it's absolutely crazy.
Yeah, with the dumbass goes, "This is what it feels like to be God," and I'm thinking, boy,
Yeah.
it's gonna go south.
And science, for science, there's no acknowledgement of spirit and soul. For science and all of that in medicine, it's all about the physical. It's all about the body, which Frankenstein was caught up in that. He didn't realize there's a soul attached, that has departed this thing that he's creating. He's making, he's not going to make a man, not unless he can breathe a soul into it. It's essentially going to be just a thing that gets up and walks around, impulse and instinct and stuff. So I thought that was,
Absolutely. And amazingly, another movie shows this theme very well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This actually got the theme
correct.
Damn pat. It's just everything else about it that I have questions concerning. Frankenhooker. It is 1990. It's a story of a dude who's got the dumbest girlfriend on the planet.
Yeah.
Who stands in front of a lawnmower that he created.
Oh my gosh.
And gets herself killed. Here we go.
There we go.
And her friend's like, "Is he a real doctor?" It's like, "Well, not really, but he stapled my stomach."
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
She was too dumb to live. She deserved to die.
Yeah, probably so.
But just like in the book, though, in the original Frankenstein, her name was Elizabeth.
You know what the last name is? It's Shelley.
Shelley. There we go. Yeah.
I mean,
lots of really good homages. And of course, his name is Frankenh.
Right. Yep.
So he goes about finding hooker parts to put his fiance back.
Well, she was a little. They had the actress wearing. Of course, she was a Penthouse Playmate of the Year. The actress was, and they. But then the opening in the scene there with the party before she gets run over by the lawnmower, she's got like a fat suit on so that she looks a little plump, and so he finds all the hooker bodies,
what he likes.
Quite a weight loss regime there.
He picks out the body parts he likes.
He likes exactly. Mm-hmm. So it's very much
very selfish.
Yeah.
Surprisingly deep.
Yeah.
Wait, it's hard to use words like that. And yes, thank you, Steek, for your puns and things about sucking the souls. And it's true, though, that he didn't love her the way she was, because there was a whole thing at the beginning where she's saying, yeah, he keeps trying to make me lose weight and
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
all this. And he electrocutes all these hookers. I mean, that's, I just can't even.
I mean,
I just
who would
can't
have?
even.
I had no idea that the movie involved like super crack. You know,
And
that
that's how he
went-
planned to kill the winner.
all that.
And then they all get it, and they all explode.
Yeah, that was. I did not expect that scene at all. What in the world? Okay,
Oh
I
my
love a
God.
movie that is unapologetically stupid.
Oh
Yeah.
gosh, we were just laughing our butts off.
But the logic behind it was
Yeah.
sound.
Yes, it was.
Yes.
So once he puts her together with her head, oh wait, there he is doing his Frankenstein thing to
Yeah.
pump the contraption. It's this stupid mullet.
Oh my gosh.
Now, these actors, they actually still do convention appearances.
Yeah.
I think
Mhm.
Yeah.
that I would love to be at a panel with them talking about it. But
Yeah, Eddie and I watched.
Yeah, there was like an interview.
Yeah,
thing
there was an interview they did at one of the
with
conventions.
yeah, with Frankenstein or Franken and
With Jeffrey and her.
Jeffrey and her. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
Jeffrey. That was
so,
his- yeah.
or even though it's the 1990, it's still got the 80s thing going on, and there she is. And when she wakes up, she still remembers what she's supposed to do, so she goes out to Times Square and picks up a John,
Yeah.
and this poor dude
And
gets more than he bargained for.
Oh,
way
yeah.
more. Yeah.
Oops.
Yeah, and she can only say lines. Her lines are all what the hookers have all said. You know, you have money. You know, Jersey boy and that kind of stuff. So,
You're looking
I
for
thought
a
she did-
party.
yeah, I mean, I thought
Got money?
you know, for a model, you know, a nudie model, I thought she did a pretty terrific job of acting the role. She was funny as all get out.
Mhm. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, and her face was all kind of twisted,
Yeah,
Yeah, the
exactly.
way she did her lips.
Yeah, exactly.
growling. And they're like, I recognize certain parts of her.
Oh gosh.
So of course what ends up happening, he finds her after she's wrecked some havoc. I think she kills about 2 people accidentally, of course.
Of course,
Yeah.
yeah.
In
yeah.
the course of her activities. They basically get electrocuted.
I know.
I shouldn't be laughing. This is terrible.
But she's like a walking battery, you know. Yeah, it's just so it's just so completely ridiculous. It's just hilarious.
Yeah.
I understand some of the from reading the trivia that some of the prostitutes were actual striptease artists, dancers, and stuff, and they went because general casting or whoever was casting the film kept sending them girls, and they weren't obliged to do nude things and topless stuff and whatnot. So he went and actually got strippers and that they signed on, and SAG signed them up. So now they're streetwalkers that have SAG cards.
Nice.
That's hilarious.
Yes. Just very quickly before we move on to the climax, no pun intended, of this story, Steek says, have you ever watched the Reanimator trilogy?
I've watched one of them. Haven't we watched one of them? Didn't we
No,
watch one?
I've never watched them.
You've never watched Reanimator?
No, I
Okay.
have not.
Oh yeah.
Oh, girl, we should probably watch that together. Yes. Similar theme.
Yeah.
And one could argue that probably maybe Frankenhooker is a little more close to that. Perhaps. I would need to find more material concerning it. But what redeems this movie for me, because I frankly was about ready to lose my will to live. I was starting to go Padme when he finally gets, spoiler alert, by the way, Elizabeth back like the way she is. So it's not like monster Elizabeth. And
Right.
she's like, "What have you done?" And he's like, "Well, I just took all the best parts of you and things got a little messy and stuff." Then some dude randomly chops off his
His
head.
head.
Yes,
Yeah,
her old
yeah,
pimp.
yeah, the pimp.
Yeah, because he was pissed.
Yeah.
So she gets kind of revenge on him.
Mhm.
Yeah, exactly. And she told him, "You left really good notes." You know, so she
Yeah.
followed his instructions and did the same
Yes.
thing. That's hilarious. Now,
She-
another trivia thing: the bowl full of boobies, for lack of a better word.
Yes.
Apparently, the director gave those out as party favors at the wrap party.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes, they had a lot of body parts, and
Yep.
Elizabeth, mad scientist Elizabeth now, mix and matches with him, but gives him female breasts and a female body. So he's like, "Wait, my you know what is gone? What's wrong?" And she's like, "Oh, I just put together the best parts."
Ah, yeah.
It was a revenge that really
Exactly.
illustrated the theme that the creator is the monster, not
Mhm.
the monster. Because what he
Exactly.
was doing was selfish. It was horrible. It
Mhm.
wasn't letting
Mhm.
her rest in peace. And who would want to live in that horrible body?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, she's like, I had to make a few changes.
Yeah.
Oh, and she even did it where she had like the biggest, like most porn star breasts you could on it.
Yeah.
Not the normal proportional one.
Now they said that the actor had to stay strapped to that table with that bodysuit over him like for a day while they shot that.
Oh,
And not to be crude, but he was talking about it. And he said he remembered having to pee in a coffee cup because they couldn't cut him loose from it until they were done shooting. So
oh no.
I know what a day in hell.
Gosh, couldn't they have gone to a CVS and gotten a
You
urinal for
You would have
for-
thought, or a little thing, a bag, but apparently not.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Well, the more you know, the more you don't know. But well, shout out for the beginning sequences where you see the news reports of how it's like parts we're still trying to like,
Exactly. It's like
identify all the parts that flew everywhere.
Apparently someone took home souvenirs.
Oh dear.
And who knew Mary Hartman was going to be in it?
Yeah, she was the one we saw. She played the mom in that in the
she-
Thanksgiving movie we watched
Really?
last year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
The
with
horrible
twin-
one?
Yes, the horrible one. That's not cranberry sauce. Yeah,
No.
the one with the twins. Yeah, she was the mom in that.
Gee whiz, she gets around. But no, this movie is surprisingly redeemed in the last minute. It's just everything leading up to it. Well, because it was so over the top.
Well, yeah, like I said, it's unapologetically ridiculous. It's just insane. Apparently, Bill Murray loves this movie, which I can see that.
Well, and it's definitely gained a cult following.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we've got we're going to make Ava sit down and watch it with us.
Oh no,
we're going to watch it again.
Yeah, Eddie and I loved it.
I mean, that was just we
it
were
was,
howling.
It was
It's
great.
so funny.
Yeah, I think this would actually be a good movie for a group watch, like when everyone's together. It's
Yeah.
really late, you haven't had a lot of sleep, or there's been a lot of alcohol, and
Yep.
definitely maybe. But I should add, this is not family friendly
No.
at
no,
all.
no,
There is
no.
loads of nudity in this movie.
Not much cussing and not much violence, but
Right.
definitely nudity.
And obvious drug use.
Yeah.
Heavy,
A lot of
Heavy
cocaine.
use.
heavy drug use.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
The crack
disturbing-
pipe.
yes, the paraphernalia.
Exactly.
It's very disturbing imagery.
Yeah, very
Um,
much so.
However, one could argue the whole theme of all of this is the horror, the horror.
Yeah.
So it should be disturbing. It should be kind of messed up because even in the 1818 version of it, that there was like a lot of naked bodies and body parts that
Hmm.
Victor Frankenstein had to go through to do his abomination. For obvious reasons, she never described it. It was very ambiguous in the book. I think one thing because she didn't know. It's just like
Mm,
somehow it happened, but
right.
also just the sensibilities. There was no way anything like that could ever have gotten published back then.
True.
But yeah, so I'm gonna roll. Let's see. If you get it again, Eddie, get a lottery ticket. It is Eddie again. Okay, get
Okay,
a
well,
lottery
we
ticket.
get a
Yeah, I
lottery
didn't
ticket
even
today.
for Maury or Eddie. And so, Eddie, what score would you give this movie?
Well, from a movie making perspective, it's probably like maybe an 8 or a 9. It made creative use of a very low budget. I appreciated that. And actually going down to the seedy part of town to shoot live prostitutes on the street. I thought that was creative and all. Now, as far as just a silly fun time, don't take it seriously, I'd give it a 10 because it just rocks in that regard.
Interesting. I think I'm going to be a little more judgy than you, but let's go to Maury.
Yeah, I give it a 9. I mean, I had a great time with this movie. I thought it was well done. I laughed my butt off from beginning to end. It's a great time watching it. Yeah, they're like a 9.
Okay,
Solid
so
9.
for the entertainment value.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And for what it was going to do. Yeah, I would say probably a 6 just because
Sure.
it was just awful for me.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh,
I was
yeah.
just like, this is just awful, but I can understand your perspective. However, the theme application, I
Right.
would give it a higher. The ending saves the entire thing. When you look at it through the lens of how it ends, like, aha, you actually got deep there, and maybe you didn't entirely mean it, but well, yeah,
Yeah.
they did mean it because that was their final scene,
Yeah.
wasn't it? Yeah.
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 So well done. So maybe it really wasn't a comedy.
Yeah. I like how the way she said it. I mean, she wanted to say a-hole, but you got the gist of what she wanted. Like, you incredible, selfish a-hole.
Yeah.
I made
It's
a few
kind of
changes.
kind of a little more a little Annie Wilkes going on,
Yeah.
but for different reasons. Well, I think that if she had have actually come out and said it in those words, explicit words, it wouldn't have had the power that it did.
No.
True.
No.
True.
So yeah. All righty. So Frankenhooker. Oh, sorry, Eddie. Did you have something else to say?
No.
Well, I was able to watch this on Peacock with commercials, so that's how I saw it. I don't know. Do you all own the DVD or how did you?
Yeah, we got
Oh,
it.
of course.
Oh, all right.
And
All right.
we can bask in it anytime we
Yeah.
want.
Oh dear. Okay. I watched it completely for free because I don't even pay for the Peacock. I'm on the family account. So there we are. And then last but maybe least is
Yeah, I think we all agree on this
Yeah.
perhaps the worst movie I've seen in forever.
Oh my gosh.
So-called Mary Shelley's Frankenstein.
one.
A
Oh.
movie did not deserve to be this bad with the creative people involved. I mean,
No.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, these were
I
talented
know.
people.
How do you get this wrong?
I lay it completely at the feet of Kenneth Branagh.
Yeah.
As
Yeah, I
the
would have-
director,
Yeah.
he could have made it better. But unintentionally, be warned. It's like, yes,
Yes.
be warned.
Be
Okay.
warned.
Now, when they call it Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, just like Bram Stoker's Dracula, that is false advertising,
Yes.
that is fake news because this was not her Frankenstein. The only aspect of it that was more Mary Shelley's Frankenstein was the story being bookended with the Arctic. It starts in the Arctic, it ends in the Arctic. There we go. With Aidan Quinn. Also, the monster looking more human-ish was closer
Yeah.
to the story. But oh my gosh.
Oh yeah. I mean, and as laborious and glacial as this thing moved, it still had the feeling like it wanted another couple of hours. It just,
Yeah,
oh, it
it's a
just,
2-hour movie. It felt like it was 6
yeah, it was a
hours
6-hour
long.
movie crunched down to 2 hours. It was just,
I felt like we've been watching it all day long.
yeah, holy crow! It's like we got to bring this thing in some point, you know. Just,
Yeah. It's so hard to put the finger on it. I think it was overacted, overplayed because was the screenplay really that bad? That's what I'm still trying to figure out. There were a few lines that were cheesy, but it could have not been as bad as it was because it did stick to many of the themes. I thought they did very well at the beginning. Is it here? Oh, yeah, see, there he is. There's the Frankenstein by Robert De Niro. I thought that his scenes actually were very solid and solidly written and
Yeah, he was
executed.
good, and Tom Amadeus was good.
yeah, Amadeus was great.
Yeah, I kept calling him Mozart.
terrific.
Kenneth and Helena were just
They were just
up in the atmosphere somewhere. I don't know what
they
they were
were
doing.
over the top. It's like, dude, direct or act. Don't try to do both. Only, you just don't try to do both. It was, yeah.
It only worked with Henry V because that was also Shakespeare. So,
Right.
I think I know what they were trying to go through with Victor and Elizabeth in this version. Like, oh, look, oh, they're so innocent. Oh, look at this. But it just came off as being ridiculous.
Yeah.
See, do I have it here? Yeah, here we go. First of all, the dialogue when they're cousins, but were raised as siblings because she was orphaned. Then they say things that were not at all said in the book. They go sister, brother, lover, wife. Oh yeah, and then he proposes, and we're like, did you really go from sister, brother, lover, wife? I think friend was in there somewhere, and you're just like, and they brought it up again when they got married, and they're going brother and sister no more. I'm like, dudes.
Yeah, it's like, come on.
And so you're just sitting there laughing. So when she dies, it's just hilarious.
It really is. And the whole, and when they show her after he's reconstructed her, it's like, dude, what did you do? He ripped her heart out. We do it now today as a matter of regular surgery. Put a new heart in there, jumpstart her, and send her on her way. He didn't have to mutilate her whole head and body and all of that. All he had to do was put another heart in there.
Yeah, dumbass.
She wasn't damaged or anything, but I mean, except for not having a heart. But I don't know. It just. And you have this wonderful sci-fi premise. You have a mad scientist reanimating a dead body, and we spend the bulk of the film bogged down in the human condition and the love story and It's like, no. Make a monster, set it loose on the village, and have it killing people. That's there you go. But no, it was almost like Spielberg's War of the Worlds. We have aliens coming in to invade the planet. We spend the whole movie watching 4 people. It just, that's just directors they just can't help themselves. They have to explore the human element and all. It's like, no, there's no humanity in this. This is a madman making a monster. I don't know. Yeah.
I like what you say about him indulging himself, but to be fair, in the book, it really was more about those aspects of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you got a teenager writing
Yeah, a teenager writing it. So she was, all hormoned out.
I'm in love.
What have I done? And oh, woe is me. These scenes were not a part of the book, but these were good additions, I thought, because you had his friend Amadeus. I can't.
No, I think
His
you're
name was
talking.
Henry. I kept calling him Mozart. That he knew what was going on. See, no one really knew what he had actually done. The only
Right.
dude who ever learned was the captain in the Arctic. They
Right.
didn't know that he was actually behind all of this stuff, but they threw that in to have some narrators and his professors saying this is a bad idea.
Yeah.
The whole hammering home the playing God.
Right.
And
Did you recognize John Cleese? Did you recognize? I had no idea
it
that's who
took
that
me a
was.
bit.
It's like,
It was
Yeah.
like, I know him.
it's like,
Yeah.
is he doing silly walks?
Actually, yeah, I thought his character was good.
His character was good.
Yeah, it was just more Kenneth and Helena.
Yeah. Well, just Kenneth. Because I liked what they did with Robert De Niro when he went to that family that was straight
Yeah.
from the book.
Right.
Exactly. And he learned with that kid how to read.
Mhm.
Even though he's learning from, the other room and looking through the wall.
Yeah. Now, that was a little bit far-fetched that he was able to learn.
Yeah.
quickly. Not only can I learn language, I can read. I can do all this stuff. It's like, really?
Of course, he did have the professor's brains.
Well, that's true. He did, didn't
Yeah,
he?
he didn't have an abnormal brain.
That's fair. Now, the whole professor's brain and all that was also not in the book at all. It was just very vaguely talking about stealing body parts, but she didn't even get that explicit in that because when it was written, I don't know if that would have been acceptable either. She lets you
Right.
fill in the imagination, but okay, that makes sense within the movie context because how on earth? I remember that from the book. How on earth did this guy just listen to a few things and said,
Yeah, he had the professor's brain, so yeah,
Right.
he was already smart.
Yeah.
You just need to remember he was smart.
You're smart after all. And then the accident where they thought he was hurting the people, but he wasn't, and that makes me go, I hate all humans now.
Yeah.
The
Right.
blind dude, those parts I believe were well done.
Yeah.
Ridiculousness. After Victor created Frankenstein and he was like in that amniotic fluid
Yeah, they kept falling down, slipping,
and
sliding.
slipping, I was like, what are they doing? It went on for like 5 minutes of them
Yes.
slipping
Yeah.
around.
Yeah.
Get some Crocs or something. Get
Yeah.
some tennis shoes. Get some, something that you can stand with. Yeah.
They
And
looked like they were Jello wrestling.
Yeah.
yeah. And how many births did it take to acquire that much of that juice?
Oh,
Crime
God,
in
that must throw
Italy.
up. Yeah, it was so gross.
It was so disgusting. And then when Elizabeth gets killed, all of a sudden, he's got a whole bag full of that stuff in the roof. When did you go and round all of this up?
I know. It's like, wow, dude.
Dude, did you carrying that around with you or something? I mean, for crying out loud.
Oh gosh, that's so disgusting. But I think that's a good that's a good example of where he overindulges. It's like, listen, maybe let him slip once, and then okay, now he's up. We don't need to see these two middle-aged men slipping around.
Exactly, getting that goo all over them, and they didn't have showers. I mean, oh my gosh, yeah, that was that was ridiculous.
Maybe he thought he was being deep, showing like I've tried to give a real birth. It's like a real birth, but it's not a real birth. And then the dumbass goes, "I'll just kill it tomorrow." I'm like, why not kill it now?
Yeah, right. Why not right now?
I'm gonna go to sleep now. What could possibly go wrong?
Oh my gosh.
That was really stupid.
Yeah.
Now I will say the film looked terrific. I enjoyed the views, the shanty shack that the family lived in, and the forest around that. I thought all of that was shot really well, looked good. I like the rich people's house. That was kind of cool. And of course Ian Holm is terrific in anything he does, but they barely used him.
Yeah, Bilbo.
Yeah, exactly. Or Ash from Alien. Yeah.
From every single possible movie we've ever seen.
Yeah.
Another good moment I thought was them on the hill when the lightning strikes and they kind of get to see the energy, the electricity thing between their
Yeah.
fingers.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of cool in showing the theme. It's like, oh, look, we're kind of experimenting with electricity. Isn't this neat and fun and innocent?
Mhm.
In contrast, he just didn't contrast it.
Yeah. And then there just happened to be another lightning storm happening right after Elizabeth dies. I mean, that gave you a weird sense of timing. Okay, she's dead. So how long did we go? I mean, and did he have to wait for another storm? He had to go get the stuff, the Jello. He had to go get that. So,
oh gosh,
obviously there was a period of time from her death to where he brought her back. It didn't happen. The film made it look like it was almost instantaneous. Let me run her to the lab right now and put her back together.
Well, yeah. Well, that would also explain her hair.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Yeah. Yeah. In the book, thank goodness we didn't have any of that. It was him killing her. He strangles her. Frankenstein, by the way, was too dumb to live because he goes, "Oh, the creature said I'll be with you on my wedding night. That means he wants to kill me on my wedding night." It's like, no, you dumbass. You just killed his bride. He's going to kill your bride. And so he's like, just be safe in here, Elizabeth. And then he's like, ha ha ha, I strangled her. And then that was it. Then Frankenstein took off. They did the big hunt. He didn't try to do that stupid bringing her back to life. So that whole sequence was like, dear, just make it stop. And when she set herself on fire, I was so happy. Thank you. Thank you. Bring this scene to an end.
Oh
It's
my gosh.
excruciating.
Well, she's running down the hall like she's full of gunpowder. Everything she touches explodes. And then she jumps off the stairs and she hits the floor, and the whole bottom floor of the mansion blows out. It's like crime in Italy. What did you do? Did you put nitro in her or something? Good grief.
I know, but I was cheering it on because I'm like, just burn it all down.
Yeah, burn it down, please. Please burn it down. Burn this down.
Please end the movie.
Yes, can we go now?
Yeah.
Can we roll the credits?
And then when Aidan Quinn is like, oh, he's dead now. And I'm like, thank goodness. All of you died, please. But one great moment, Maury and I agreed on this. We were talking about this the other day. So I'm actually going to hand the proverbial microphone over to Maury, is a very quiet scene with Frankenstein and the creature in this kind of ice cave. And you can even see it right here in this still that Kenneth Branagh is like, oh my gosh, that was great. Can you keep that, please? Can you keep that level of restraint and acting and stuff? So I didn't know if you wanted to talk about that, Maury.
Oh yeah, that was like, I thought that was the best scene in the movie where the creature's sitting down and he's like, you made me out of these parts, and who am I? And Dr. Brain is like, I don't know. Just like,
the sadness of it.
It's very sad. I don't know.
But that's the question that humans ask. I mean, who am I? What am I? What am I destined for?
Yeah. And it was, like I said, both actors were great. Kenneth Branagh didn't overact.
Yeah.
And it showed the heart of the whole theme. So I guess that's a long way of saying, if you want to watch any part of this, just watch that scene and forget everything else.
Yeah, that scene. Or maybe all of the Arctic stuff. I love the boat. I mean, I love the ship and it hits the iceberg. I thought all of that was just high seas adventure. That was great. The captain was maniacal in his quest for the North Pole and all of that. And then he comes across somebody who was crazier than he was about obsessing over something.
Yes.
Then he, okay, well, yeah, let's just go home.
Let's go home.
Let's go home.
Yeah, this is a bad idea. Yes. My brother-in-law said while we were watching this, did you trick me into watching Titanic? I'm like, no, because that iceberg scene. You were like, iceberg ahead. It's like it's a different kind of Titanic we're about to see, a different kind of long unfolding disaster.
Oh my goodness.
Uh,
Yeah.
So we're gonna get to the painful part, or I don't know. We gotta rate this thing. So I'm gonna roll, and hopefully Maureen will roll for you. Let's
Okay.
see. It did. It was a 2. Evens for Maury. Maury.
Alrighty. I will give this movie a -1.
Oh my goodness.
It was so awful.
Now recall, this is the woman that gave Frankenhooker like a 9 or a 10.
Hey, Frankenhooker was
Frankenhooker.
entertainment.
Yeah, that's classic film
There was
making right there.
entertainment.
Wow.
It moved. It got the theme right. It's great.
Yeah.
This was just.
This was obsessed with itself.
Ugh.
Yeah. So tell us how you really feel, Maury. No, I mean, I think
this was Kenneth Branagh. He's totally Dr. Frankenstein, and he totally Dr. Frankenstein this whole movie. He didn't have a freaking clue what he was doing.
oh, that's a good analogy.
He became Dr. Frankenstein.
Yes, he
He
became
made a monster movie. It was just sluggish and dumb.
Talk about a movie within a movie.
Oh man.
And only bright in a couple of spots thanks to Robert De Niro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, dear. All right, how about you, Eddie?
Well, I'll be a little bit more generous. I would give it, if I were doing the visuals, the cinematography, costuming, the special effects, and things like that, it's all top class. I mean, it's I would give all of that stuff, like a 5 or a 6 and all, because it really was good to look at. They captured the coldness of the environment, and the peasant town people and their plight and whatnot. But as a film goes, and the story and the acting and all, I would give it a 1, maybe. It's not something I'm in a big hurry to see again. So, but like I said, it looks really good. Now, we didn't watch it in a surround situation. I don't know how the audio was, but the costuming and all of that, and makeup, and like I said, they hid John Cleese. That's no small piece.
No.
I didn't even know who it was until I saw the credits. But yeah, I would give it a 1 or 2.
Wow. The
Yeah.
fact that you say that you might watch it again, it's like, I never want to watch this ever again. My brother-in-law says, you brought the DVD, you're taking it home. I bought it at the thrift store. He wouldn't even let it in his house after that. And I remember at the end, I said, I'm so sorry.
Oh
So
my God.
sorry to both of you that I made you sit through this. I had no idea it would be that bad because I never watched it at the time because I thought it looked silly at the time.
Oh, I
Yeah.
saw it at the theater.
You went to a
Oh,
theater?
so sorry.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, the popcorn was good.
Oh my
Man.
gosh. Well,
I didn't remember how bad this was.
yeah, maybe you blocked it out. I would,
yeah,
I would
probably.
give, I'd give
I
it a
did-
5. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I said I did remember that Robert De Niro was good. That's the only thing I remembered from it.
Oh, oh gosh, Steek is judging you. So which is it? A 1 or a 2? Pick one of them and stick with it.
Let's go with a 1.
I'm sticking with my -1.
Yeah.
-1. Yeah, it's like, gosh, somebody's judgy. Well, we got 2 Scandinavians now in the chat, so goodness knows what kind of judgment we're gonna get.
So
but-
what was your score?
I was gonna be a little nicer. I'm giving it a 5 in the sense of 50-50 because the movie was absolutely horrendous. But the 5, the half, which is still a failing grade, is for, as you said, the production values, the scenes with Robert De Niro, and that one scene in the ice cave. So that makes it still failure, but it at least is tolerable. Somebody's trolling us. Okay, whatever. Well, to be fair, though, yeah, the ambiguity, yeah, yeah. I don't know what your ancestry is, Eddie. I mean, technically, mine is also Scandinavian, but it goes back like a very long time ago, so I can't own it. But
Yeah,
we Americans, we always like to say, I had a great, 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 great grandfather who once passed by Germany, so I'm German or something.
yeah, I have no idea what my ancestry is. I mean,
Yeah.
Scottish, German.
Yeah, Scottish and German.
Yeah, I was
I
gonna
knew
say
that.
Maury's Scottish. Yeah,
Yeah.
So.
I'm
Of course,
basically.
of course, it's all diluted out, but you
Well,
know,
yeah, I mean, that's-
Yeah. So in other words, we don't have an excuse for how we are.
not really.
We are who we are. We are not ashamed.
I have South Georgia ancestry.
There you go. All right. Well, we have reached the 1 hour mark, and that brings us to a close. Well, thank you so much, Maureen, Eddie. I'm so glad that we were able to work this out and get back together. Oh yeah, see, Steve's giving me hell. I know it's diluted genes. My Scandinavian is diluted genes. Yes, I'm aware. And trust me, I'm too emotional to be a true northern woman. But in any case, always good to see you. And hopefully I'll get to see y'all in real life if my real life can get sorted out and I can get over there and hang out with y'all again. So I would usually ask where we can find people, but you all do not have a YouTube channel yet. Yeah, I still say Maury needs to start a cat YouTube channel. And she'll make millions of dollars with put the cam on Sebastian and all the other guys.
Yeah. Well, I am on Twitter or X, whatever it is now.
Oh, that's true. Yes.
Confined Cats.
Confined Cats?
And then Instagram, Sebastian's on Instagram. That's the white cat. You can follow him. He's Sebastian Ebenezer.
Oh, there we go. I was about ready to say that the Instagram account, your cat's one, is pretty hopping. That's a pretty good.
I know, I'm almost to 200.
There we are. So find her cat online, and Eddie's just tearing apart Georgia or doing whatever he does. And hanging out there, keeping the world together. And you'll find me here at Miss Martin Muses, where I talk about what makes me laugh, makes me cry, makes me happy, makes me sad, or just really ticks me off. I'm going to be doing a review for the Fall of the House of Usher video review, hopefully coming out tomorrow or Saturday. I will be on Nina Infinities on Sunday night, hopefully talking about that and maybe some more of my We the People Catholic explaining and something that really takes me off. So if something really takes me off, maybe I will go live with that. Steek says cats on Instagram would freak me out.
Meow.
Yeah. So, and if you all haven't, enjoy this season. There's lots of really, really good horror out there. This is just a taste of the Frankensteins that you can see. Then there's tons more Frankenstein movies and many others. So get into the spirit, enjoy yourselves. Have a great day, everyone. Have a great day, and be certain to never, ever play God.